And we all enjoy driving around the Northwoods, I at least hope we do, and kicking our feet up on the weekend, but sometimes those drives to our perfect spot can be a little far. They're not right in our backyard. So for today's On Our Mind, I was curious, how far of a drive is too far for a day trip?
Yeah, Michael, you and I were discussing this earlier while we were talking about things this morning, and I think overall, and I think it depends on what kind of the general idea of road conditions are and everything, but I'd say under the most opportune conditions, around, I'd say 3 hours. So 3 hours can get you definitely within the UP, Keweenaw Peninsula. You love going up there to Mount Bohemia a lot. That can also get you into Door County as well. I know I have a friend who's going to be camping there in a couple weeks, so might make a day trip over there, actually.
See, I think my dad really instilled in me just leaving super early, so I'd say like 5 hours. Because if I left at like 6 a.m. so I'd get there by 11. I'd be there for a few hours. I'd head back, and as long as I do it within the midnight to midnight time frame, I mean, it's a day trip to me.
Oh man, I don't know if I do that though, because I keep in mind that that drive back though. So that's why, to me, 3 hours, which can get you across pretty much most of the Badger states, so like Madison or something like that. But usually my 6.5 hour drive, which is pretty much that whole day trip in one, is basically down to Illinois. And by that point, I don't care how many stops I make, I'm tired after 6 hours.
That's very fair. I remember in the wintertime, I went with my partner. We went over skiing after the show in the morning. You know how we wrap up here, on your TVs. We drove over to Duluth and went skiing at Spirit Mountain this winter. And that's about a 4-hour drive to get there. Went skiing for the day, and then we drove back. And when I say we, I mean me. I drove back. She kept me awake, thank goodness. Yeah. But we got back at 6 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening. But it was, it was a lot. 8 hours of driving in a day after having already, done the morning show and had done skiing as well. It's exhausting. It can really it depends on what you do and how quickly you get up, I guess.
And that's the thing too, though. I mean, are you able to have drivers switch out? If you can do that, then that makes the drive easier. Then I'd say that day trip can definitely be longer. But I know just for a person can only handle so much driving.
Yeah, when I first saw this question, we were talking about it earlier, I misinterpreted it because I thought we were talking maybe what's the longest you drive in a day? Not necessarily for a day trip, maybe, when you're traveling or moving or somewhere, because this brought up, the debate. When I was moving here, it's a 24-hour drive pretty much from Washington to Wisconsin, and I was like, let's just do 12 hours, make it 2 days, get it done with. My dad was like, Jackie, what is wrong with you? And so we did 3 8-hour days, which was then kind of nice because I got to explore. I've never been to Montana, never been to North Dakota, so I got to explore those. But I was like, I just want to get it done.
I mean, granted though, and your dad had a good point too. I mean, it's just a lot on a person to drive that long. And granted, by that point, though, you hadn't gotten your driver's license
yet. I did, but he wouldn't let me drive because I had it for less than a week.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. I must have got that backwards with your Wisconsin driver's license.
Yeah, yeah, he wouldn't let me drive on the way here because, I had my license for less
So you didn't end up doing the 12 hours?
I didn't. No, we did, 8 hours. We were in Idaho for 2 seconds, and then we were in Montana for 10 years. So
I mean, 8 hours isn't the worst, though. It's still not great, unless you, again, can switch out, which I don't think your dad was able to. He did the whole driving, right?
Yeah, he did the whole driving. But, yeah, we, broke it up with, stops and stuff.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to see out there. I mean, Montana's beautiful. So, big sky
really
country
pretty.
there.
And, we got to explore around, so it was fun.
Not too bad there, not too shabby. But we got a lot of fun things coming up this morning, and that includes Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for flank steak pinwheels.